we were watching Jokic play, right?
Yeah.
And we're sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, he's back-to-back MVPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely a top 5 most dominant athlete in basketball you can watch right now, okay?
Yeah.
Do you think that he goes down as a top 3 center of all time? Because I want you to really think about, before you answer, how many really fucking good centers there have been in all of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, and a lot of people forget, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying casuals out there may forget that like in the 70s through the 90s, bigs dominated the NBA.
Yeah.
It was a big man sport. Now it's a guards league now. Mm-hmm. It's transitioned to that. So like when you see somebody like a Jokic or somebody like an Embiid, it's not as like, it's harder to pass the eye test, I guess, but like, damn, does he do it? And so like, I don't know. Do you think he ends as a top 3 center because he's on back-to-back MVPs?
Yeah.
He's leading his team to the first seed in the West right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just say yes, like straight up. I think that like without even knowing who the people were in the former years, like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, where it was like a bigs league, I think you can make an argument, maybe except for the 90s, you can make an argument that the level of competition that's in the league right now is just fucking bananas. Like it's crazy from head to toe, guards to centers. Yeah. And the fact that Jokic is still absolutely dominating a league that, like you said, is a guards league now, really feels to me like he's solidified himself as a top 3 center of all time.
I think you make a really good point. I think there's definitely 2 that are above him.
Okay.
As in, I think will end above him.
Can I guess one of them? I think it's obvious. I think it's Wilt. I think Wilt is over him. Really? I would say Wilt.
No, he's not. I would put Wilt. I think Wilt is a prime example of someone that purely just played in a league in a time where it was an ABA transition. They had hardly any rules at all, hardly any ways to get fouls called on you. They had no timeouts. They had no like all this kind of stuff, limits, minutes restrictions, all this kind of stuff. Like he played in a different era of basketball to where I think everybody or like the majority of the people with basketball knowledge would agree if you put him in the NBA today, his numbers would drop substantially.
That's probably true.
And I could be totally wrong in saying that. But he is one of the best ever. But I think there's 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean Wilt. But
did you mean Kareem?
I understand. No, I did not mean Kareem. I meant Bill Russell.
Bill Russell is one that I would consider in the argument for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think Bill Russell was way more dominant than people realize if you go back and watch his film. It's incredible what he did. Most
rings by an NBA player of all time with 11.
Yep.
Had to put one on his 10-inch talk, literally.
I think you could. This is a stretch. Sorry, not to like hijack your question, but I personally think that Bill Russell, you could slightly make an argument for GOAT. Slightly. He is definitely slept on in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I'm never going to disagree with that answer. Definitely had a crazy long career with one team in the Boston Celtics. Won 11 championships. I don't even know how many MVPs or finals MVPs, all-star games, whatever you want to say. He played in one of the best eras ever of basketball in the 60s and 70s. So,
So anyway,
I can't disagree with that.
But I think not to hijack your question.
No, I asked you. You're good. I think there's one that is unanimously should be in everybody's top 3.
Well, you said Kareem.
Kareem is in my top 3. He's not unanimous.
Okay.
I think it's Shaquille O'Neal, and it's not even close. I was looking at his resume last night.
That's fair.
I was looking at his resume last night. It's unbelievable. He has 1 MVP, at least 2 finals MVPs. He's got at least 3 championships. I think he probably has more. And then he has 3 All-Star Game MVPs as well. And I don't even know how many Defensive Player of the Years, first team All-NBA, second All-Team NBA.
Yeah. In arguably one of the most difficult times in the NBA to dominate.
Oh, absolutely. And he did it without being injury-prone, hardly ever got injured, with the style of play that he was playing where he was literally breaking backboards. And he did it mostly with one team, hopped around some other teams, and when he was on those other teams, they still won. And they were winning championships. Yep. He did it with the Miami Heat. He had a decent run with the Suns. Obviously with the Magic, where he started with them, he was phenomenal, and then he went to the Lakers and won chips with them. And so it's like, I mean, you can't deny him being in the top three. And he's the most dominant player at a single position in NBA history.